if you've joined the stream that I've just finished, where we've created a blog template from Theme Forest as a challenge. Now we're going to add Keystatic to it. I've taken a 5-minute break. I've played basketball outside in my backyard, which is awesome, but means I'm even more sweaty and hot now. But I needed that physical break. So, let's dive back in. I'm going to show you where we were at if you just joined. Basically, we've created this layout with a hero and then a group of categories for a blog that's going to have categories. And that's where we're at. This was inspired by this design that has a different font if you follow the first stream, but looks sort of similar. But what we're going to do now is populate this with real content, so we can actually have more fun styling it than having a placeholder image and text for each. And so we're going to use Keystatic for that. And we need to think about the content types that we want. If I was organized, let me just put my headset to hear myself and see if everything's working. It looks like it is. If I was organized, I would have a little I can't think of the name of this app where you can do drawing and stuff and planning and like Miro. I'm not thinking of Miro, but some sort of mind mapping app. Excalidraw, I think I'm thinking of, where I would like do some drawings and what sort of content schemas we want, but we'll sort of wing it instead. So we have a it's a blog, yeah. So we're going to have an article or blog post content type. That's for sure. We're gonna have posts, and then the post will have a title, intro text. Is that a cover image? Or I think that this might be part of the actual content. And there's a few fields, images. And then there is an author. Authors, I don't know if they have a profile page. Yeah, so they just have a list of posts, a location. So authors, the breadcrumbs are actually a pretty good information of what content we have. We have authors, we have categories, and then we have posts. Yeah, and the posts are belonging to a category. So it's like a one-to-many relationship. A blog belongs to one category. Maybe not. Maybe like, you can't really have the breadcrumb if it belongs to 2 categories. But a category can have many posts, that's for sure. So we'll organize all of this. So to do that, let's set up Keystatic. We're using Astro. Let me go back to the home page. Keystatic is a content management that works with your file system or GitHub instead of a database. And you can have JSON, YAML, Markdown, MarkDoc, any format that kind of plays well with static content. And here, I think we've installed MarkDoc. So we're going to play with the experimental new MarkDoc fields. So we're playing with unfinished, unready stuff here. Keystatic is ready and finished. Well, not finished, but it's ready for production. But then we're going to use an experimental Markdown and MarkDoc field inside of that, just because it has new content blocks that I want to play with. So if I go back to the page that you can find from the docs adding to an Astro project, we have an Astro project. We've added this at the start of the previous stream. So now I'm going to install Keystatic, Core, and Astro. Command J, stop the server, clear. Oh, sweaty. See, the little icon is sweaty and warm like me. And if you're just giving a successful prompt, it goes back to the cool surfy shaka. npm install Keystatic Core and Astro. Keystatic Core is going to it's common to all flavors of Keystatic, like Next.js, Remix. And then the Astro one is where we have the integration that we're going to use. While it's loading, let me add a Keystatic config file. .ts, and I'll call it .tsx because we're going to have some React JSX markup in there. So once you've created the Keystatic, once you added the packages, you need to add, see here we're adding the Keystatic integration that we import from the Astro package. And we're also going to set the output mode to hybrid because the Keystatic routes need to do server-side things, work with the file system to read and write from the files on your file system. So let's go in the Astro config. We're going to import Keystatic Astro. We can name it however you want. And then you add this in your array. Come on, autocomplete. Do I have to wait? Okay, I won't wait. Keystatic Astro. Yes. And let's not forget to add output mode to hybrid. Hybrid is cool because it doesn't change the front-end pages. They're still static by default, but you can opt in SSR with const pre-render equals true. And this is what happened in the Keystatic pages that are injected from this extension. Okay, so the next step is to define at least a config file with a storage strategy. So I've created this file before while it was loading, and let's go and populate it. So Keystatic config. Hi Stefan, how you going? Thanks for joining. Feel free to ask questions, roast me or whatever. How many people have we got in the stream? 4 people watching. Yeah, I've lost there was about 20 before, but it's probably late in some countries. Anywhere else than Australia. But yeah, I thought breaking the stream into multiple videos for the future was good, and also for me, for my sanity. So we're going to import the config from Keystatic core, and we're going to export it. Export default config. And you can see that this is going to be completely TypeScript friendly, autocomplete. Everything is optional except the storage. You need to tell Keystatic, hey, I want to have a storage kind of GitHub or cloud, which is a hosting, like a authentication and also image hosting service that ThinkMill provides if you're interested. But here I'm going to use a local, so it's just literally reading from my file system here, and I don't have to set up a GitHub repo. I don't have to go and pull the content that's been updated. So that is the minimal Keystatic config that works. And I think at this point, I just need to add the host flag in my, this is an Astro thing. Where is it? In package.json, the dev script, I'm just going to add the host on that port to make it available. And now look at this, npm run dev. We've already have a CMS that does absolutely nothing, but runs on our website. So if I go to, where are we? This is our site, localhost 4321. If I visit /Keystatic, open in a new tab, look at this! We have Keystatic. We can resize the sidebar and we can switch to light mode. And that's about it. It does nothing else because we haven't defined any content collections. Let's very quickly, I do that on streams, I don't know why, but it brings me joy, so I'll do this. Keystatic config, I will use the UI key here to just change the brand, and the name is going to be Spotlight. So this just changes the name to Spotlight here. And if you want to, you can also change the what's an icon that would work well here? I don't know. You can change the icon, but let's not do this. So basically, there's name, and then there's also a mark, and the mark lets you have an SVG or an image that you can use. I need to close some tabs. Yeah, you can change that Keystatic icon for yours, and it's also going to work with the light and dark mode if you use current color. So let's define. We want posts, but before we have posts, we want categories. So I think we're gonna define the categories first, if that makes sense. It probably makes sense. So if I go in the real design and I go in categories, oh my God, sorry. I just saw Stefan mentioning that it's 1:28 a.m. But I guess if Stefan has clients in Australia, Stefan has to be up anyway. That's commitment here. Question, how's the weather down here? It's freaking hot. You can see I'm wearing like a basketball singlet. I have a fan directly on me on the side. All the windows open. It's 30 plus degrees and it's humid. Honestly, it sounds good. I know most people are in Europe in the middle of winter and just crave for some heat. But it's day to day. If I was outside at the beach surfing, hell yeah, this is my weather. And this is why I moved here. But doing computer stuff and streaming, it's not the best conditions. Like, yes, I could have air conditioning, but I can't afford it right now because I've renovated this place. One day, if you buy my Pro Tailwind and Epic Web courses, I'll be able to upgrade one day. Yeah, it's great weather for life, not great weather for content creation, if I'm honest. And another commitment here is Matthias, who's in class, putting the stream on the side. Yeah, watch the replay. Hopefully it's not too long. I know I've waffled quite a bit, but yeah, thanks for joining, everyone. It's exciting. I'm already feeling more natural. There's that thing about I don't know what's the word, self-awareness, or like just self-conscious. Like as soon as I'm live and I know I'm on camera on YouTube, I'm like, oh my God, I'm stage fright. Like it's hard to get through, and I can feel already getting better. And I envy these folks that I've listed before that can just be completely natural and productive on streams, on stage, wherever. And that's where I want to be at. So I'm practicing. Categories. We have categories. There's 4 of them, and you can see that I don't think they have much. They have a cover image, a title, and then this is the relation to the post. But I think okay, the thing is with Keystatic relationships is not really like a full-on strong bond relationship that gets, if you update the name, it follows it. It's more like, it's like a string reference, an array. You can have a one-to-one relationship is a string slug reference, and then a one-to-many is an array of string slug references. So basically, if you want to relate a post to a category, you create a field that relationship and you join the slug of the category. But then if you change something, what is stored is just a string at a point in time. It's not going to be this robust relationship hierarchy. Keystone.js, which is another piece of framework that ThinkMill builds for like more ambitious apps, CRUD apps with like GraphQL API and all the stuff. This will have very robust relationships that follow each other. But here, so what I'm thinking is either for the 10 posts, I'm either going to fetch all the posts and filter by the category name and then calculate the number of posts like this. Because it's not, yeah. I guess that's the way to do it. So I'm not going to worry too much about the 10 posts here for now. Let's have an image that will store on a file system and a title. Okay, so let's do this. So check this out. Back in my Keystatic, I want to close, no, I don't want to close Lucid because I'm sure I'm going to need more. What I want to do is bring the admin UI, definitely not side by side with Google Fonts. Separate that. I want to, yes, I want to have my site, the design, and then Keystatic side by side. So here we're going to create a first piece of content in our config file. Let me close all the distractions. And we have collections here. Collections is anything that is more than one, as the term collection. And you also have singletons for one-off things like the settings page or about us page or something like that. So, post seems pretty safe. I'm going to import the collection wrapper, which is the Keystatic magic, the TypeScript goodness. If Matt Pocock is here now, I doubt, but he would probably enjoy this because it's pretty cool. So, it needs a label. We're going to call it post. I'm going to try Combat Copilot that's going to keep trying to do stuff. It needs a schema, which is where all the fields that you want on that post. But it needs a few more things. It needs a, that annoys me because that's usually, you define it after the schema, but it needs a slug field. And the slug field is how, you're going to determine how to create this, what fields is responsible for naming the slug. So that's a very, very good comment. I have been brainwashed to have this really big blown up resolution for making videos, because a lot of people watch videos on the bus, on their phone. For live stream, it might be different, yes. I know most devs have big monitors, but I have been watching some videos on YouTube on my phone on the train ride from the work in Sydney, and it's, you can pinch and zoom, but it's like, I'm from the Egghead school where there's a very specific 720, but at HDPI, it's a trade-off between readability and works everywhere. I know that if you have a big screen, it sounds stupidly big, but yeah, I don't think I'll be able to switch off from that because I'm so ingrained in it, and also I'm old and I have glasses now, and like making things big is just a good thing for me. Like I enjoy. But I agree, I might consider revisiting this. I know Ken Sidot streams at 1080, but then he doubles the zoom size in Keystone, in VS Code. I don't know. But it's a good comment. Finally, Astro and Keystatic. Yes, sir. Yes, it's fun. Yeah, so slug field. Slug field is, each collection needs to have a mechanism to generate slugs. And we're going to use the post title here that doesn't exist yet, but it's a pretty darn common convention. See, slug field said, hey, doesn't exist yet. Yeah, well, yeah, give me some time to create it. Title. So Keystatic has lots of fields that comes from the fields from Keystatic core that I just auto-imported by pressing enter up here. Fields that, and there is a slug, which is very cool because it lets you create a title field, which is a text field, but also a slug that is attached to it. It sounds weird the way I set it up, but let me show you. If we go back to admin UI now, we have a collection of posts that we've just created. It's empty, and it has a title field, but you can see there's that slug, and the slug will be auto-generated. Of course, you can change this to hello, and if you want to go back, you can regenerate. So this is really cool way to kind of synchronize your string, and it's gonna make sure it's not empty and it's not matching another collection. So let's forget it for now. Or you know what? Let me show you the bare bones minimum. My first post. And I'm gonna go create. And we're gonna see what the hell. I haven't told Keystatic where or what do I want. So if I go back in my file system, if I close all of this thing, look at this. We have a post directory here. What's that? Ooh, my first post index.yaml with the title. What happened? So if I open the config file, we created a post collection, and without specifying where to go, it's going to create a post directory that matches the name of the collection in the root. And then the default behavior is to create a folder with the name of the slug that's generated by the title, and then an index.yaml file. This is the bare bones behavior that Keystatic does. You can completely change that. Yeah, you can completely change that, but the default behavior is going to be that. And you'll see in the future we will change this, but now we're working in Astro, and I don't know, who knows, there's some people excited about Astro, so I bet some people know about it a bit. Astro has this content collection concept. So whatever you put in a src contents directory will have mechanisms to read and write, to read files. So you can say, hey, get collections from, what am I doing? Way further down, this is all how to define it, but then you can querying it with get collection or get entry. And basically you can say get collection posts in our instance, and it's gonna get all the posts from that folder. So we're basically using one of Astro's features and making Keystatic adapt to that feature. So let me show you what I mean. If I go in my home page here, and let's go right at the top before the hero. So right here, if I go import get collection from, I don't know why it doesn't click, Astro, no, Astro content, then I can do const post equals await get collection post. This is not going to work because there's nothing where there should be things. So if I try to have a pre-tag and JSON that stringify the posts, we're gonna have nothing. And I bet we have an empty pre-tag up here. Oh my god, sidebar. Yeah, we have this empty pre-tag with nothing in it. And data Astro source file, which is stuff, maybe it's in development only, Astro ads, I don't know. So, watch this. Watch this. If I was taking this post and I created a content folder and then moved my posts inside there, now we visit the homepage again. What? We now have a collection with one object, which is our first post. You can see there's the ID, the title. This ID is basically the slug. That's not Keystatic slug. It is Astro's slug. That is the folder, and then the file. Basically, it's the path to the file. So we moved the cheese, and therefore Keystatic cannot find the post. Yeah. If I go to post, there is a 0. It's gone. And it's because Keystatic is by default looking in the root folder to posts, and there's nothing like this. So if we go to our collection, we can add a path. The path Does it tell us what it is if I hover? The path is a string sort of glob that tells where to put the file. So you can see that it's not happy being an empty string because it needs to be a string with either 2 stars or 1 star or 1 star slash. And I'll explain that. Basically, we want to put our post in src/content/post. And then I can decide if I want star like this. And this is going to create a myfirstpost.yaml file instead of a directory and then the file in there. The way it's set up right now, I need to add a slash, and now it's going to, slash is the slug, so it's going to create a folder with the slug name and then index.yaml. So now if I save this, Keystatic should be able to recognize once again this post. And now I can change the title. You can change the slug as well. I don't recommend changing slugs once you created them because you might you might confuse certain things. So look at this. Now I've changed the title and Astro. So I've changed stuff in Keystatic, and Astro has picked it up. And the really cool thing is I've edited the file from Keystatic, but a lot of CMS force developers to use the CMS. What if devs like, yeah, why can't I just change the title here? Well, you can. You just did. Well done. And yes, if I go back to Keystatic, the title is changed to. So Keystatic doesn't take over the workflow. It's like, no, from now on, everything, the content belongs in the CMS, and that's the source of truth. Now, what Keystatic does is it reads the schema that you've defined and where you told the files live. And it's like, okay, hang on, let me put the config file. I get excited here. Keystatic is like, you told me there is a post collection living in src content post, and it has a title. And so I will go look in here, and I will find the title field, and I will create because this is a text string field, I will create a text input for it. Nice. Let's keep going, and you will see that it's super powerful. So there's an image, so let's add an image as well. There's lots of options for images. You can have cloud stored images. Here we'll just have the image on the file system to keep it super simple. So we have a title field, and we'll have an image, which is fields dot. You can see all the fields that you can use out of the box. Here we want an image. And our image is going to have a label as well. Cover image. You can have a description if you want. The image that will be used to represent the category. I was about to say I can type without making typos, which means I'm getting comfortable on stream, but that's when I started. So now that we have a label and a description, if I go back to Keystatic, look at this, cover image. So now again, there's default behavior. So this is dangerous to. Let's go with that. Choose file system in public. So let's choose that image. We should probably have an alt text and stuff like this. But if I save this, once again, I didn't really decide much. So Keystatic has put the image right next, collocated inside my folder here. And this is why it's a folder, because you have an index file and then assets that go with it. And then in my index.yaml file is just stored a reference to this image title. Yeah. There's a lot more you can do. This is the default behavior. So if we look in our, this is sort of strange. Now in our data, image is just the name of the image, which might not be very useful. Yeah. So what we want to do is store the image in a way that makes it easier to retrieve it. Astro has, I'm pausing because Astro has this concept of assets. So if you put something in assets, you can then you can then import it if it's configured properly. I will just, for this demo, I'll put it in public. The images put in public are, you can access them just like a normal file. There's no image optimization or anything, but let's start with that. So I want to put the images in here. So just like we've configured our path in the collection, the image itself can have some config like directory. So I say, please put this in /public or public because it's at the root / images / posts. Yeah. So that by itself is going to change where it outputs the image, but it's not going to change how it's stored, which is just the name of the file. What we want is, if we were in our front-end templates and we wanted to display an image, we're like, well, it's in public, so I want to go to /images / the name of the collection. We want the public path definition, and guess what? Public path you have. So if it's in public, you don't have to specify. You can go straight from public /images / posts. And now check what will happen. If we go back to the admin UI, we have lost our image because we've changed the way it's handling it. So let's find the same image once again and save. But this time, let's look at what happened. The image has been put in public images, the name of the post, the name of the slug, and then image. And then what has been stored in the YAML file here is the exact path to that image. Which that might not sound cool, but it is very cool. Because now you can have an image with the src attribute to that, and it will find that image. Yeah? So you know what? Why don't we do that? This is a categories page. So that doesn't really live here, but we should do another. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's create a new page. We have the index page. I'll duplicate this and we'll call this one categories. Please ask question if you have any questions. Oh, Richard from Kenya. Thanks for joining. Awesome to have someone from Kenya joining. I love that about streaming, and I'm in Australia and I'm connecting with someone in Kenya. It's awesome. So I've duplicated the page. I'm gonna remove the hero. We don't need the hero. And actually we don't need the categories either. All we need to is to get collections for categories, which we do. No, posts. What am I doing? This whole time I thought I was creating categories, but I was creating posts. So fear not. Let's go in our Keystatic config and we'll change that. What we were doing, it doesn't matter, but we were doing categories, yeah? Watch me just update this. There's a title, category, and here. Okay, so we're gonna lose all our stuff. And now if you think about it, if I go to Keystatic and look in the admin UI, what do you think will happen? Now we told Keystatic to look in the categories directory that doesn't exist yet, so we should have we should have no categories, 0. If that makes sense, because we created posts in the but if we create one, it's going to now let's call it, was it creativity? Creativity. Let's use that one. Okay, so now we have created a category, and it's finding one because we have in content, we have now a categories categories directory with our YAML file, and it stores the image there. Ain't that cool? So now in our categories page, why? Oh yeah, because it's trying to get the post because we said get collection posts, and it still exists. So let's go in our categories page, and we're going to go categories. So see that this categories here, it's by default, it's going to look for the name of the folder inside the contents. That's an Astro convention. And then you can pass a config file to have lots of benefits with TypeScript. So now, instead of, no, I want to go to the categories page. Now, instead of just doing this, we're going to design that page. So what I'm going to do, there's a breadcrumb here, but before I do the breadcrumb, I'm going to take the hero content. Where am I? Where am I? Components, hero. I'm going to copy. Actually, let me copy the whole thing. Yes, I know it could be a page heading component instead of hero. We're not there yet. Pages, categories. Watch this. Bang! So now we have the same hero on the categories page. But instead, we want it to say categories. And then we're going to copy that. So, paste that here, change that to categories, and I've noticed that the text is a bit smaller, so it's not okay. So we have a text display that we're gonna use only one time only, so it was a wrong abstraction. What? Text 5XL? Yo, did I overwrite the whole font size thing? No, I didn't. I extended it. Text 5XL. Tailwind config theme extends, so I haven't overridden anything. Okay, so that was just a weird refresh thing. Okay, how are we tracking? It wants to be wider, doesn't it? So now I'm starting to make a mess because I have these CH units that are going to change. But you know what? We're prototyping. Let's go to 70 here. No, 60. Okay, so that's good enough for me. Probably 55 if we want to be fancy. Okay, and the subscribe button can go somewhere else, see if it's more fun. So we have the category intro, and now we want to display a grid of categories. This is likely very similar to what we did before, but let's quickly build it in case you didn't see the previous stream. So that's the intro. And then I'm gonna stay inside this max width container. An ordered list. We're gonna have 4 of them like this. Okay, so class equals grid, md grid calls to actually sm probably. md grid calls 3, lg grid calls 4. So now we have responsive hello. Obviously it's not why is it not using the whole width though? Oh, because yes, I missed just that. Okay, so now I'm inside this grid. Remember I used a grid to do the stacking alignment. So now, and I set this grid to justify content start, item start. So it's pushing everything to the left. So I can either move that away from the grid, or I can say this one, just yourself, you can stretch. No? Item self, maybe. Is there item self? Self content stretch? Oh my god. Justify self stretch. That's the one. So now, look, it's wrapping because we haven't reached the LG, and then at LG it's gonna be 4 columns. 3, 2, 1, 0. So I don't know if it really, and that's why we have the spacing, but if I look back, the space, yeah, okay. You know what? This was a fun idea, but I'm gonna kill the grid here. Kill the justify item start and the gap. Instead, so now it's all going to be bunched up together, which is expected. Instead, I'm going to have here empty 8. So if you confuse, I had the grid to auto handle the vertical spacing, but here it's quite different. So I can remove that and have empty 12 instead. Yeah, something like that. 16. Sorry if I go fast, but I want to create that. Okay, so let's have, for each category, we should be able to grab the image and the title. Yeah? Yeah. So, instead of doing 4 like this, let's go like this. Categories that map for each category. Let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. I feel like I have 1 parenthesis too much. Do I? Hello us. Okay, let's remove this stuff here. And we basically are going to, for each thing, we're going to have an image. And look at this. The source will be category dot data dot. I think it's not helping me because I haven't configured the TypeScript collection in Astro. But basically, I know that this data that image. Wow, look at this. And then there's an H2, which is category that data that title. Superb. And so this is where something is a bit weird. Astro wants you to define a schema in the content collections in Zod, which is awesome. But Keystatic already creates, we've already created a schema if you think about it in the Keystatic config. There. And Keystatic lets you use that schema on the front end. But Astro Content Collections wraps it slightly different with the data object. So you have to do a bit of gymnastics if you want to use Keystatic's types in Astro. Or you have to redefine the Astro Content Collection config. Neither is ideal because you have a bit of work. But let me try to use... Typically, I would do the Astro collection thing. But let's try, because I'm demoing Keystatic, let's try to use Keystatic instead. So in my front end, on the categories page, we'll import the entry, the type entry from Keystatic core/reader. which is from the reader API that we're not using because we're actually using Astro's reader API instead. Pardon me. But we can try to do something here. Type category props equals let's try that. Type category entry equals, we'll use the entry, and then we'll go type of Keystatic config. Look at this, it knows to import that because we need that. And then here we can have access to the Keystatic config. We want collections, and then we want categories. So now look at this, if I hover over this, we know that the category entry is a title and image. So maybe we can do type category props, and we know that Astro adds an ID, which is a slug, and then it adds this data, which can be our category entry. Will that work? I don't know. This is a bit messy, but if here I told it it's an array of category props, and let's see what happens now. Category props, so there, if I don't have the image, hey, look at this. Now I have access to the autocomplete. But there's something else. If I look at get collection, gives you an ID, a collection name, and then the data. So I'm kind of throwing away these other two here. Anyway, you get the idea. I just showed you how you can use Keystatic's entry type to have type on the front end without rewriting them. But Astro has its own types as well. So let's go with that, although I should probably fix this to have also data and collections and ID. But let's look at our thing, and let's make our thing look like that thing. So the image, we'll give it a class, equals width full, aspect, remember we did 4 by 3. No, we did 3 by 4. So we're going to aspect ratio of 3 by 4, and then we want to not stretch it with object cover, and we want rounded LG. And instantly this is starting to feel much nicer, isn't it? We'll have some spacing here and make the title a bit bigger and grayer. So h2 class, so I've just switched back to Tailwind for a sec. Text, XL, font, semi-bold, text, slate, 900, hover, text, slate, 700, 800 I get. Oh, and it's a link. Let's have the whole thing, and then this is an a ref. Aha, and I'm gonna need the slug. Did I break everything? No, I don't think I did. So let me just add some margin top here. I can do that on an H2 because it's the actual parents. That's where the concern of the spacing is. Empty 4. How we tracking? Hey, not bad, not bad. I don't know why I speak like this randomly. And this can be 2XL. Okay. What was I gonna do before? I forgot exactly what I was. Oh yeah, the slug thing. The slug in the keystatic entry. Where does it come from? Basically, the slug is not attached to. The slug is not attached to a collection because the slug is accessible via the file name. Like, to do what we've done here, we have the slug already. So in the real world, when we have the categories page, we'll use the URL or like the params, route params to know which. So we have to know the slug in order to be able to fetch the categories. So it's not passed because it's already kind of known. If that makes sense. What am I talking about? I'm getting confused. We get the categories, and then each category has. How do I get the slug? Yeah, I think I broke things by kind of. Title, name slug, image. So when you use Keystatic, you use reader that read, and it gives you. Yeah, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm using Astro to get the data. So because Keystatic gives you the slug separate from the data. But so does Astro. It gives you this ID. So I'm sure there's a type collection or something. So my idea of using a thing kind of confused other things. So maybe you should do the Astro way. A mix of both is I just wanted to show you how it works. But if I go to Astro, do I still have Astro? So if I go content collections, setting up TypeScript, you can see there's that schema here. That's how you define it. I don't know what I want to do because I've started using. Do I fake it like this? No, don't use that code I'm writing now. But basically, also the fact that it's like /index is, where's the slug coming from in Astro collections? What am I doing? Can I find the word slug here? Slug property specific to content collections. So it gives you actually a slug. Get entry, that's the slug. Okay, but if you get collection, yeah, you get. Yeah, so when you use get collection, oh my god, yes, that's what I want, collection entry. I've taken a detour here. Oh my god, is it even the right thing? I should definitely... Okay, I'll remove the stuff that I've done with Keystatic because it's it's fighting against what Astro is trying to do. Okay, so if I go bare bones like this, yes, ID, collection, data. But where's the slug? Because that's not, you can't link to creative. Is that a thing? No. But that's not definitely not how you link to a page, because it's gonna go /index. Oh my god, and that, what I want is the slug for the, help me out in the comments, I'm getting tired and I'm getting confused. Get collection content, blog, yes. Returns, post. Ignore types, who cares about types in static sites? Good points. Yeah, a lot of people are really fascinated with doing end-to-end type safety from the content in the backend and the front end. So I thought I'd show it, but yes, ignore. Yes, let's ignore types. But okay, if I get collections, then how do I link to the individual one? Where is the bloody slug? The slug property is specific to content collection and will not be able... Oh my god. Okay, I've learned something. We're using YAML and JSON, and it's because it's a data, I remember now, it's like a data content type instead of a collection. Yes, there's type data or type content, but YAML and JSON is type data and it doesn't have a slug. So this is a perfect segue to switch to more configuration of Keystatic. Instead of having YAML, which is the default, we're going to change the format, and we're going to say, gimme data. Look at this, JSON YAML, but you can also say content field. Yeah, so no, I don't want to do this. It makes sense when you have a... So content field lets you make it a markdoc or MDX file. But it's literally just data. It's like categories. I don't really want to change this. But if you wanted to turn it into an Astro content collection, you could say content field content, which means you would need a content field in the schema, and then it would create, the index file would become a markdoc or MDX file, depending on what you use. And all the extra fields, instead of being in the YAML file, it would be in the front matter at the top of the field. But I'm not doing this here because I don't want markdoc files for an array of text and images. So we'll just work our way. We'll make it work. I want to go back to building stuff. Creativity. So let's, you know what, I'm sick of all this. Let's create more categories. Aesthetics. And for the image, yeah, let's go with fancy stuff I created with DALL-E. That's just pretty aesthetic, actually. So now look at this. If I go back to the front end, we have two categories. We obviously forgot the gap. So in our categories page, we can go here and add a gap of 8. I think it's the right place to add it. Hey. And let's go and create another category. Inspiration. Boom bap hip hop. I'm laughing because I can see that posted a funny gif of his brain exploding, and someone else compared it to the, forgot the name, Elmo or whatever, like fire gif, and then I made a blend of these two. And let's create a fourth one. What was the fourth one? Okay, I need to close that Google font. I never need it again. Exploration. And you see how cool, once you've got the content fields, and we've only done the categories, which is literally nothing. So what do we have, Dali? Hey, unicorn. Okay. Look at this. Our website is taking shape. So now we want that when we click on it, it goes to the actual category page. Right now it goes to, I guess the slash index can be trimmed. Anyway, I am not gonna worry about this because we don't want to create the category page. What I want to do, now that we have categories, actually, yeah, I want to create a category page. So in our pages directory, I'm gonna turn the categories into a directory instead. And then this inside here is going to become the index. I think that should still work. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I thought it auto-saved. Because it's open. Okay, it was open, so it didn't want to save my open file. So we've just moved the categories to a directory here, and now we can have the slug. What's the syntax in Astro? I think it's that. Slug.astro. And basically it's going to read a URL parameter. Let's duplicate that whole page. We're not gonna use all of it, but let's put that there. Category page. Now it's going to very quickly complain that I don't have a get static props. I don't think that link's gonna work because of the index, but if we remove the index, aesthetics. Oh no, okay, I know. Hey, bear with me. In here, in the link, I want to go to slash categories slash category.id, which is not really, that index is gonna be annoying. Okay, so if I go now, it's going to go to slash categories slash aesthetics.index, and if I remove the index, now we have the actual page, but we need to do sort of like we do in Next.js because of the hybrid mode. What? I am hybrid. Yeah, I could export const pre-render equals true to bypass the problem, but if we want to have a static path, and you know what? This is where I'm going to. It was an array of slugs, but the YAML thing doesn't store slugs. Or I'm getting something really wrong. Should I just trim the index? That's so weird. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I know. Let's use Keystatic in a way that helps our lives. So instead of having a directory, let's remove that. It's gonna break everything, and I'll explain what's happening. In the path here, I am now saying that the categories should be, the YAML file should be the name of the slug, not folder/index. So basically, if I go in Keystatic, it's going to find nothing. It's there. If I go here, it doesn't have any categories because it's looking for folders with the name of the slugs, which don't exist. But if I go in my content collection, categories, let me show you with one, and I might do the others with the... Basically, it's looking for... Let me delete the folder. It's looking for the name in the YAML file directly. So now it finds one. Yeah. Yeah. So why does it help, you ask? Okay, let me be smart. Copy, expand, paste. I don't know how to move with the keyboard. There's probably a move folder. Let me do that real quick. There was probably a better way to do those changes. No, no, no. Okay, I can delete these three. And inspiration goes in categories. Okay, so now we have 4. Now we have 4 categories and they all work. How does it help? I hear you ask. And the answer to this is now the slug is not going to be /index. The slug is going to be just the name of the YAML file, the ID of Astro. You know how... What am I doing? You know how Astro categories... There. You know how Astro... I'm not using this. You know how Astro get collections gives me... See now the ID is just... It used to be aesthetics, the name of the folder /index.yaml. Now it's just the file, which means it can be a real slug that I can use in a link like this. So the category.id is... So now my links are going to work properly. So I've made, once again, I've made Keystatic adapt to work with other tools, which is pretty cool. So now aesthetics will go to directly the page or category. And I just want to make the image also be a link to categories category ID and put that inside. And if we look at the design very quickly, you can see there's that scale up by question. Does the slug field work if the title is written in not Latin alphabet? I don't know if it works with Slugify, but it will strip out all the... It basically turns your title string, text string, into a URL friendly kebab case, no accents, no weird symbols. So if you... Let's go create a new category. If I were using Simon and then try some weird... I don't even know how to do weird character. You can see that it's only going to use what's URL friendly because slug are likely to be used for URLs. I hope that answers the question. It might use Slugify. Look at the code. Keystatic codebase is open source. I have never looked myself. Okay, so let's not save that. What was it? Yes, I was adding the little hover effect. So there's a scale by probably 1.1 on hover on the image. So I thought... So the image zooms when you hover on the link because it's wrapping. So pretty sure it needs a group class. And then here, group, hover, scale, 1.1. Now that's not a thing. Scale 110, is that a thing? Yeah. And now, okay, so that now we have a interesting problem. It scales, but we want this to scale without growing. So what we can do is move the aspect ratio here to the parent and width full. But then we need the image to be full height, yeah? I wonder if it's that not respecting that because of the display inline. I'll make this relative, and then I'll make the child absolute inset 0, height full, width full. So basically, and the rounded LG should go up there. Basically, I'm setting the dimensions on the link, and then I make the image absolutely positioned using the whole space. Yep, so my guess, block or inline block? Yeah, that's what it was. So now I've done all this, so I can add overflow hidden to the anchor tag. Because the anchor tag doesn't grow, it's the image that grows. So now when I hover, we have the effect we wanted. I know I went quick, but in my and that's what I mean by when I explain things, I'm much slower. If I prototype in Tailwind myself, I don't have to tell me this, and I just go like a riot speed. That's probably a bit too big, so let's switch it to 105. Which I think is the default value. Yes. Okay, so look, we have this to, I think it's even a little bit less, but hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. I think is looking really cool. So now I can click on the image, also add quickly the hover state on the, it's there. Doesn't look like it though. Yeah, I can see it, but you probably can't see it, depending on YouTube, what YouTube's doing. Okay, so let's finally sort this get static path. It's very similar to Next.js, so in the slug page, I will export an async function called get static paths. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you import what? You're not helping. So I'm pretty sure you have to redo that thing because it's not accessible in there. Well, let's try. So basically it needs to return an array of objects that have a params, something like this, yes. Get static path wants an array of objects with a params property which matches whatever you've passed here. So here's slug, and for each, I don't want to do it like this though. This copilot thing, return. I want to do here categories.map category, and then I want to implicitly return an object. No, wait, because the I don't want this. Yes, like this. Params slug category.id. It's what's going on? Oh my god. Can I just type code without being taken over by every category? Categories.map, and for each category we're returning an object that has a params, which is category with the small c ID. We need to close that here, and then we need to close that here. Bro. Return categories that map for each category. What is that? It was a double equal. Params slug category ID close. It needs one more of these. Okay, I have reached the brain live stream. Let's start again. Return. We want to return an array. So if we go categories that map, this is going to give us an array. And then for each category, we want to return that. Like, I don't know what I had wrong, but it's not ID because here it's called slug. So it's slug. And let's see if that fixes the page. Categories is not defined. So yeah, that's what I meant. Even if you've done that here, it's not available in the async function you export, so you have to redo it. And I need it here for my template, and I need it in here for the get static path. So I think now it's gonna work. All right, so look at this. Now we are in categories / aesthetics, and because I copied the template, it's a bit confusing, but if I go here now, okay, let's get rid of what we're not using. If I go, first of all, look at this. Category that title. Okay, you know what? I don't need that. I need get entry here. Get entry. And I need to get the page props so I can get, not get collection, but get entry. Categories, comma, and here we need the slug. To get the slug, I need to get the page props. Yeah, but we still need get collections. So we use get collections for our get static paths thing. Let's move that below. So first we're doing that thing. But then we need to, with Astro, Astro, I get a big headache, which means I should probably stop soon and drink water, but let's go a bit further. Let's push. Page props, get entry. When I want to use get entry, I need to get the slug. So there's probably an example that shows me how to get the page slug. Page URL. Maybe it's that. Page props. The page prop. But that's for pagination, I think. Yeah. I'm not doing pagination. Oh my god. Astro, how do I do it? Tell me. It's gotta be through routing. Simple routes, dynamic routes. Yes, author. Get static path. That's what we just did. Oh, so yeah, astro.params. There you go. God, I wish I looked at this page before doing all this. So I can go astro.params should give me the slug. Because that is called slug, which means there's a param here. So, const slug equals astro.params. Hey, look at this. It knows. It definitely knows. So now instead of doing const category, awaits get entry categories, and then we pass the slug. Yeah. So now category should be aesthetics, because we well, no, it should be one of these. But now if I go in my H1, I can go category dot, it's gonna be in data. Again, we don't have the types, but okay, look at this. Look at this. What error? Categories is not defined. Okay, so const is something referring categories somewhere? Yeah, okay. Let's park this. Hey. So look at this now. Now we've just reached peak. If I go inspiration, I'm inspiration. If I go aesthetics, that's one of these moments when you're building sites where you struggle, and then you come out on the other side, and suddenly you have like a bunch of functionality unleashed. So we've created a list of categories that pick stuff from Keystatic with Astro, and then we link to the individual pages. So in our design, if I go in the single page, this is what it looks like. So you have a grid with 2 columns, and they're vertically aligned, and the image is on the right, and the text. So let's do that. On our slug page, I'm going to have a grid, and probably at the MD equals 2. And was there a... Yeah, there is the introduction. But then we want the first grid to have both the intro and thing. And then on the right, we want our image. Is there any hover effect again on this one? Nah, just an image. Just a good old image. So, category dot data. What? Data dot image. So look at this. Ain't that cool? But then it looks like they have a very specific intentional cropping, which is 2x4 to 4x3. I don't. So we'll use the same. Let's do what they do. Just like we had, I don't know if you remember, we had this aspect 3x4. Let's steal that and see what we can do with it. Actually, let's steal that. Actually, let's steal that, because we've done the rest. So we're going to add the class attribute, but then we want to inverse this 4x3. We want to do something very different. Well, we want to do 4 by 2.5. Hey. Maybe 4 by 2 would work actually. It seems very panorama. What about 2.3? I think that's the exact value. See? I'm joking. Let's go 2.5. And tell me, dear people in the comment, that's pretty cool that Stefan is seemingly following along and trying stuff and working out that it's the params. Tell me, how do I center this here? How do I center this here? Well, our grid can have justify, not just items, align items. Let's try. In our grid, here, items, center, Da, 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 da. And we need to beef up the gap. Look at this beautiful gap here. It's a good 20, good old gap 20 at least. So MD, well, let's put gap 20 anyway. So there will still be a big gap. Hey, that's more, way more. 34, 34. Oh, 34 doesn't exist. 32. See the auto, like it told me instantly by jumping to the left that it doesn't exist. So now it stacks. We might change the gap when it stacks, but we're not doing response. Okay, let's go to the home page. Oh. Definitely not trying to print. Navigation. Let's make that link go to the home page. So now I can go to the home page. Oh no, our home page doesn't. The home page is graveyard for now. Categories. Our categories page is where we have a list of categories. And then if I go to aesthetics, we have that page. If I go to creativity, we have that page. If I go to inspiration, we have that page. And I just see that I asked the question and the answer was provided. Yes, item center was correct. Padding top. Why should I use padding top? Oh, yes, if you are doing floats and stuff. Yes, layouts. CSS for layout is amazing nowadays, I agree. And we're not even scratching the surface of anything here. So what should we do next? We have our category page. Why don't we, I think here is the posts. Let's go back to Keystatic. And we're gonna create our post content. Yeah? So we can start making cool stuff. Keystatic config. We have a collection of categories that will collapse, and we'll create another collection of posts, which is another collection. So remember, we need a label. Give it to me. We need a slug field. Yeah, we'll use the post title as well. The path. Is that what we did? Content categories. Content post. Yep. Yep. And then a schema that has a title. Give it to me. Yes. Oh my god. It's tried to do the reference. Copilot is like, I've got you. I've got the cover image. I've got the content. But it makes up stuff that doesn't exist. That is impressive though. That is mad impressive. I will keep the cover image. I will keep the category, but what you meant here is fill that relationship. Close enough, buddy. And it doesn't have a value field or a display field. I don't know. That probably comes from another CMS that is similar. But the rest is correct. You give a label and then you give a collection. The relationship except to have a collection, which is the slug to what relationship you want. That's awesome. So this is going to make a single category relationship, which is, I think, what we want. Oh my god, it's done that correctly as well. And so here is the cool thing. We have a content field. We're not going to use field text. So let me get rid of that for now. And by the way, there is multi-line, but it's multi-line like this. So I gotta say, Copilot had a pretty good attempt here. So let's look at what Copilot did. It created a post, and the posts have a slug, a category. So here, this is the category picker, where you pick one of them. And then it's just a text field. Multi-line is a text field, not a WYSIWYG, but just text. It's a text area, basically. All right, so I'm going to uncomment the content for now. And I'm just going to show you how composable Keystatic fields are. If you wanted to have more than one category, say you wanted exploration and creativity, here, let's comment that out. I'll copy it, comment it out. What? Actually, I don't need categories. You could have and go fields.array first. And then inside of it, you would have your field.relationship. And so now you have a series of items where you can select one, but you can select another one. And it's going to allow you to have multiple relationships. You can see item 1 and 2, and items is not very descriptive, but this is because we haven't given a label to the array field itself here. So we can have a label for the array field, and we can have an item label. So we get data, and for each we get data dot value dot now data dot what do we have? Yeah, data dot value. I think. Oh, it can be null. So data dot value or whatever, NA. So now if I go back, it's selected twice the same, but you can see that if you pick a category, it's going to display it like this. And then it's going to store an array of strings in your content. Once again, my first post, without configuring anything, let's see what happens. Well, actually, we have configured quite a bit. We said go to content posts and then the slug. So now we should have a post, but you can see we have that YAML file. And then we have that folder with an index YAML with the title. Oh no, sorry, this is the legacy one here. Yeah, okay, so we just have post and then that, which is good, but it's a YAML file. And so now let me show you why this is going to be not problematic, but a bit annoying. Because now our post will have definitely a lot of content, yeah? It will have long form, blog, with headings and stuff. So we want like a WYSIWYG field for that. And the traditional way of doing this, let's call it body or content, or yeah, content. The traditional way was to use the field.document, and if I just give it a label of content and I save, it's gonna be a bit bare bones, but now I have this thing. Let me add the formatting so it doesn't look too naked. Let's go formatting true. That adds all the formatting options. And now you have this heading, blah, blah, blah. Now you have this WYSIWYG editor. But this is not going away, but there is a new and more powerful content editor, which is experimental, which works both with MarkDoc and MDX and has composable content blocks that I want to play with. So instead of using that, this is perfectly fine, but we're going to use the new one instead. So content, I'm going to reach for the experimental bleeding edge stuff, underscore, underscore. And you can see there's a MarkDoc and an MDX field. I'll use MarkDoc here, but literally everything is the same. It's just expecting the syntax of an MDX file, and also if you would choose one or the other if you work with an existing project where it makes more sense. Yesterday I've streamed with the MDX, so I want to try the MarkDoc that I've never tried. So if I go label content, yes, same deal. It's gonna look very similar. Actually, it even saved but now this is a MarkDoc field. So if I save the file now, first of all, Astro is not happy. This is not Keystatic problem at all. This is Astro wants you to choose between content or data. And data is YAML JSON and content is markdoc MDX. But now that we've created this field, if I look at the file system, we have the YAML index file, but then because the content is a markdoc document, you can't really store that in YAML. So it created a folder that matches the slug. And then inside here, there is the mark.content that I can edit. So if I save this and I look at it, you can see that I have edited it. But we need to make Astro happy. And also, once you've moved, honestly, even without Astro, once you've moved to a markdoc file, I think it makes so much more sense to have your metadata in the same spot here, like this, and then get rid of the YAML file. You agree? I think you can agree to that. Well, if you don't, you don't have to, but what I'm gonna do here, which is what I was alluding to before, is have that format config here. And in this format config, you can define a content field and point it to something that is a markdoc or MDX field. So I call it content here because this is the name of the content field here, which happens to be a markdoc field. And by doing this, it's going to opt out of YAML or JSON, and instead, so we might probably lose our post. Yeah, and also let me delete, because Astro, let me delete the whole thing actually. So I've got a post folder, but there is 0 posts. Let's do it again. My first markdoc, this time post, we'll add a category to exploration. Hello, I am super happy to be here. Let's have a heading 3 and then another paragraph. Yahoo! So now when I create this, hey, now I don't know what this flash was, probably some cache stuff. Now, if we go to posts, we only have one file, which is .mdoc. And it's exactly what we wanted. You can see we have the front matter at the top, and then that. So we've opted out of YAML, and now we're doing everything in markdoc. And the reason Astro, if you're confused by that, I've installed the markdoc integration, and there's also an equivalent MDX integration that you can install. But by adding the markdoc integration here, Keystatic knows what to do, knows how to read markdoc files, and that's why it's able. What am I doing? I don't think we're displaying it anywhere just yet. That's why it's able to work out stuff. So what we want to do in a category page is read all the posts. It might be, it happens at build time, I guess, but it might not be super performant, but basically we're gonna read all the posts and then filter by the current category to get the posts related to something. So in my slug, in the slug page, let's do const post equals await get collection posts. And then we can do post that filter const category posts equals post that filter, and for each post we're going to only keep if post that data that category is equals to the slug. Yes. What's wrong? Ah. Is Matt Pocock here? Well, let's see if it works like this. It's an array of unknown. And so there's category title, blah, blah, blah. And then below that, what's the design saying? Is there like a break, line break? I want to go in the categories page and then in a single category. Okay. There's that. It's still 9 people watching. There is that border top and then a list of posts. So let's do this. Now let's go max width 6XL MX. No, let's do empty. Let's do border top, border slate 400. And then in here, max width 6XL MX auto. And then we'll have a UL. And basically we want a list of posts for each post that kind of matches. Oh my god, that is not what I wanted to do. Oh, okay. We might reuse that actually, but for now let's go outside there and have... See, another cool thing about Astro is you don't need a fragment. You can have 2 top level divs. Because it's HTML, it's not a function, it's kind of... It works, you don't need a fragment. So basically I want a list of posts for each category. So I think right now only one category, let me check in Keystatic. We have one post and it has one category which is exploration. So the thing we wrote before, where was it? That I don't know if it works. Category posts is supposed to give us an array of posts where the post category is matching the slug, which is that slug, which is the name of the category. So if we were in inspiration, then the post would have, but categories is an array. That's why it's not gonna work and it's complete. Okay, you know what? I showed you one thing, but I don't think I showed you how to do an array of categories. But I think we just want a single category here. Although we could totally have an array. So this is now, that's interesting. That's why as a dev, I've changed the schema, so we've broke the database basically, because we need to do a migration of the content. And the editor will not be able to do it from the admin UI. You have to go to code, because the problem is we're storing the category is an array, but I'm gonna rename it to category. It's going to be stored like this now. And I need to, in the Keystatic config, oh no, yeah, it's category. So see, now it works again because it knows the category is a single string reference. So in our slug page, the category posts, that now should work. So actually, instead of having this here, I'm making a mess. Let's have a pre-tag. That is my console log in the UI. JSON, that's stringify category post. What? Category posts. So what I'm expecting is that on every page it's gonna be empty. Empty array for aesthetics. It's gonna be empty array for inspiration, but exploration should have something. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So let's see if we can reuse some of that. Let's see if we can reuse that UL. But instead of categories, we go category posts that map. And for each post, we want the post. Is there an image? Do we call it image? What? We didn't create that. Excuse me, Copilot did. Yeah, image, okay. Post data image. And then the title is gonna be a link. Yes, yes. Well, basically, instead of category, it's posts. And it's gonna squiggle everything. Because, oh yeah, because post might be empty. I guess, I don't know. So now look at this. Okay, I think what happened here, because the image is optional and we haven't passed one, is we need to have like a fallback image. I gotta stop using place kitten because it feels like there's only, look, if I refresh, it's gonna be a cat sleeping next to a mirror. I feel like there's only 4 or 5 images that ever come. Oh no, now it's cached. Okay, so now we have a placeholder image. So if we actually yeah, before we do the image in the Keystatic config, I wanna, oh no, we've done it. We've said image go in post. My God, really nailed it, Copilot. So if I go in the post and I choose a cover image, in downloads, I had some interesting DALL-E stuff. Yes, whatever that is. Oh yeah, I was trying to create a crazy world for Gather Town, but ended up going a different route. Okay. Okay. So if we go to creativity, no, that was exploration. We now have that. See how things are coming together? So let's go and I'll create another post. The category for this one is aesthetics. The cover image is this galaxy, and say this post is very aesthetic. Create. I don't like how it do hard refresh because it keeps getting stuck into that mixed. So now exploration has 1 post and aesthetics should have 1 post as well. I created on that slug page, I created this. Let's move that whole UL because I've actually created this border T, border slate, and then the container. Although I think the UL has the container as well. No, it's gonna go full width. Yeah, okay. Let's post it, place it inside here. All right, so now we have our array of posts, and I want to change this from, where's, oh, empty 16, okay, yeah. I go PY24 instead and remove the empty 16 here. And yeah, I mean, we could move that container here so we don't have one extraneous div. So that is looking pretty schmick. What should we do next? Obviously, should we get the posts? Yeah, that link is not right because it goes to categories. Although, if we look at this site, yeah, so the posts are top level. They're not, the posts don't have the category in the path, I guess. So what I'm saying is the link for the post that seems like it's already the case. Ah, yeah, because we just need to make sure it goes at the root URL, basically, like this. What am I doing? What? Yes. And I also want the image to be wrapped in a link. There's a lot of squigglies which annoys me, but and it should, you know what? It should be a component that has this, the little hover scale thing we've done. That should be a component that we reuse. But for now, I wanted this thing to go to the post page that doesn't exist yet. And I wanted to create a placeholder page for do I want a post subcategory? Maybe. I don't know. Call it post slug to be a bit more explicit. I always feel funny putting putting param stuff inside the root level, because now if you have other pages, like how does, I think it's looking there first. Well, index is the home page. Then if you have about, it's going to first look for an about that Astro, and if it doesn't exist, it's going to look for an about param. I think. Maybe. I don't want to copy too much because let me copy that. I just said that and I copy everything. So we have a layout. We're going to need the slug. We're going to need get static path, but we want for the post here. And post params, and the slug is post. But I call it post slug, so I guess that's what I need to do. What an idea to call it with the hyphen and then it did. You know what? I'll call it just post. Yeah. What are you complaining about? Hang on, I just defined it. Yes, I will use it. It's like when you have a form that opens and you haven't typed it in and it's like, your email is invalid. It's like, all right, so this should create a static path for each. And then I want to get the actual posts with get entry, posts, and the post, which is the slug. And do we need to do the filtering here? No, we don't. I don't think so. Okay. I'm going to change this to post that data title. And I'm going to chill out with the rest. No image. No nothing below that. So it's just the post title. So you see the problem here. Okay, we reached that problem again where the ID is obviously not the slug in Astro because it's trying to link to that mdoc, which is, oh, but now it's a content collection, so it should have a slug too. So look at this. Where am I? In the here. We're getting the posts, but each post should have a slug as well. Because we're in a content collection because it's marked doc. Yeah. So instead of linking to the ID, I think we can link to the post slug. This is where you want to have TypeScript set up properly. Let's see if it yells at us saying that... No, it's working. So there is a slug. And now it's taking us to... Okay, so now we're in the... It's reading it's reading our post template here, but we've used post twice. Yeah, okay, yes. We get the param, which is posts, but then I'm trying to entry. Yes. Entry that should work. Should it? No, it should not. Okay, it's not finding the another post slash another post. I would have thought that what is going on? So it's obviously not reading the param. Is that because I'm competing with other possible paths, so I have to have a catch-all thing? You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to have the slug here. So in my categories here, I'll add the posts segment to the... What was that? Okay, so now I still have the category page, but when I hover, you can see bottom left refresh. It goes to /post / another post. And now it's working at least. But maybe it's slug, and I think I have to update. It's called slug, and up here I'm still calling it post, but it's slug. Yeah. Yeah? Are you happy now? What? So I'm doing something wrong that returns a 404 because it's like, I'm out, you sort your stuff before I help you. /post / another post. Yeah? /post / another post, which is slug. I guess we do something wrong in get static paths. we get all the posts, and then we return the param called slug, which is that slug here, which is post.id. That sounds correct to me. And the reason we use that is for later to get the... And then I can call it post because we're not using slug anymore. So what's the matter? If I remove this, it should tell me that I need get static path. Yeah. And if I add it, it sounds like I'm adding an empty array, and that's why it's not showing it. Let's try to fake it. Yeah, okay, so now it finds this one, because if it was called something else, we would have the 404. My god, I'm confused. Missing or empty required params property on get static path. Parmas. Yeah, okay, so see, now it's a 404, but if I had the actual slug that exists, we should have the page. Returns parmas. So what I was doing here, get collection posts, and then post.map, and we return an object with params slug equal oh my god, can I console log what's post? What if I refresh that page now? Oh, it's not defined. I've had that before, and I remember, I forgot what it was, but I'm obviously doing something very wrong. Okay, let's compare to, I really need, it's 1:30, I need to have lunch, that's what's happening, probably. Let's compare with how I did it here. Get static export categories, yes, return categories.map, and then we implicitly return params slug cat ID. Yes. You know what? Let me copy this and paste it next to the other one. Yeah, I know. Sorry. So we get with await get collection post. That's exactly the same. Yeah. And then we return that map, we get the post, and then we implicitly return an object with params slug is the post.id. Mate, it's the same. Did I type something wrong? I need help, people. Is it because I moved this? Let's start the server again. I've reached the point of like, have you tried unplugging it, plugging it again? I've been there before, I completely forgot what it means, but... I remember looking this owl is not defined. Am I not awaiting something? God, I'm tired. Okay, let's try it. Push through. Pages, post, slug that Astro. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Const thing equals. That's the thing I want to return. And I'm gonna log that. Oh, it's not an array. It's an object. I want an array of objects. Oh yeah, it is an array. Yes, this is exactly what it needs to have. But the slug is still mdoc. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is probably because of the .mdoc. I don't want the ID, I want the slug. See, I want that. If it's gonna work straight away. No, it's still not working. An array of objects that have params and then slug, blah blah blah. Yes. Are you kidding me? What am I doing differently? Oh yeah, post doesn't exist because there's no index. That page does exactly the same. And it works. And so why the exploration localhost post my first an error occurred. Oh, it's the, oh my god. Oh, I think it looks like it's the console.log inside the server thing. That is that the thing that breaks? Okay, so I try to, yes, okay, so now remember what it was. I think I'm using a thing called, the thing that logs in the browser. It's an extension. You can think of Quokka.js, and then something that it does is throwing that error. Ah, damn. Did I break it with my, yeah, okay. Okay, so now I can, thank you. I can return that straight away and not that. Okay. So now instead of hello, let me bring back my base layout, but I've changed entry back to post. We're back in business, friends. My first Magdo post. Delve into the wealth. What is that? Oh yeah, that's the hard-coded that thing. Okay. So if I open one post, let's do one more thing. We're gonna add a description field. So Keystatic config, Keystatic config. In our post collection, we have a title and then a category. Before the category, we will add yes, this was quite, it's funny, I got maybe half an hour or something stuck, and it's a console log using an extension that does something that doesn't go server. Yeah. Anyway, if you want, no, I don't want to do it now, but I'll show you what the extension does. We have a description, and here I'll use a field.text. I don't want it to be WYSIWYG. Description. Yes, but I want multi-line to set true. What? Oh, it added, yeah, Copilot added what the description field is used for. So let's copy the kaleidoscope inspiration thing, and we will go in Keystatic and add a description to our post. So now you've seen that mountain every time I pressed arrow right instead of arrow left. If we go to, you can see here we have a description. This one doesn't have one yet. So you know, let's add it manually. Now let's not change the format. This is the description. And that's the beauty of Markdoc MDX. You can work on the files. Now if I go check the other posts, the description is here because I just wrote it. Bingo bango. So now, in our post template, here, we can have the post, that data, that description. Voilà. Mais oui, merci beaucoup. Let's add empty 4, make it beefy, boofy. Empty 4, text, XL, font, semi, bold. Bob's your uncle. No, it's Bob's too thick. Font medium. Vibes, good vibes. We could have. Honestly, I'm going to stop here. I've been doing it for like a crazy amount of time. Actually, it tells me 2 hours and 12 minutes on the second stream. The first one was 2 hours as well. Next, we will tackle the whole WYSIWYG with the different blocks, the different blocks, content blocks. We will create. We will create an author collection as well that we will relate to the posts, and then ideally we can have. Holy, there's a big flying thing. We can have a author's template page, author/slug, and we can have authors listed, and from authors you can list the posts, and from posts you can list the authors, and from categories you can list the posts. Amazing. This is how a content management and a blog works, I guess. But let's look at what we've done this morning and now. Okay, so now I remember how I was getting the posts on the homepage when I was debugging the very start. You can see that now we have an array of 2 posts, and you can see all the data like this. So we want to get rid of this. This was like it's on the index page that we haven't touched in a while. And I was trying to build a category, but I built a post. That's the first thing we did. Let's get rid of that like this. So now our homepage looks back. And yes, okay, before I leave you, because this is all hard-coded, this 4 thing. So let's actually turn this into dynamic content. We're going to deplenish this area a lot because there's not many posts. But if I go to the categories thing, it's all bollocks right now, yeah? So let's change that. Import get collection from Astro content, and then const categories equals await get collection categories. Yahoo! Now look at this. This is super simple. This is where you've done the work up front and then you get to enjoy. You use Copilot, I guess. Did it work? Object, object. You did close though. View object, object. Yeah, so it's because of this data thing. A category has an ID, collection, and data, blah, blah, blah. So what we want to pass is the ID. You were close, Copilot. Nice try. Look at this. Aesthetics, and then they'll be repeated because these are the hard-coded one. But I can get rid of all that. And now we have our CMS categories. And what I mean by this is if I create another one, in categories here, that's the slug I was testing. What's another word? Outdoors. Let's regenerate the outdoors. We're gonna find a outdoorsy. Oh, let's use flex for outdoors. This is I don't want to go there. This dog passed away poisoned by rat poison, fox poison, and it was terrible. But it's my good old friend Flex, and the corgis. Can you see just? Oh, you can just see the. Just in the. Oh no, you can't because I'm in the circle. His son. So, this dog died, but 2 weeks before he died, he made the other dog we have pregnant, and then we had puppies, and we have one of the sons, and all our friends have puppies. With like he saved the legacy. The legacy lives on, is what I'm saying. So now I've created one more. Did I save it? I don't know. I think I did. So now we've created a new outdoors category. So if I look at the site, there should be an outdoors category as well. And we're going to change this to make it display the actual post. This is not the category image. These are the posts within this category. So there's only 2 posts in the whole site. So changing that is going to make our it's happening in here, category list. So see how we're receiving just a string of the category. Now we can do this. Import get entry from Astro content. I think get entry. Can I? What do I want to do? No, I want to get the posts. I don't. No, I want to get collection and get entry. So what we want to do, we receive the category, which is a string, which is the, and then we want to get for each this UL here. Instead of array 3, we want the posts for this category. Yeah. So what we want to do is const posts equals get collection posts, and then const category. Oh no, let's go posts, and this one it can be all posts. Equals all posts that filter. Yes, you figured out what I want to do. Where the post dot. Remember the relationship post dot data dot category equals category. I'll try console log post, but I will not leave it. I will not leave it to create an error. all posts that filter, so what, all posts? Oh, I haven't awaited it. Can't filter a promise. Let's await it first. And then filter it. What are we doing? Cannot read properties of reading category. Okay. Ah, post that. Post that thing. Post data. Oh my god, I think it worked. Look at this. Homepage, hero, aesthetics. What I want to see is the console. Yeah, see, this is Quokka, I think. Or one of these that logs. So see, this one has some data here. There we go. What am I logging? Posts. So all posts filtered by the category. So why do I have all this empty stuff? I don't know. Oh, because yes, I know. Because we're not in the template, we like all. So we want to get all categories. Ah, yes. Okay. See that Astro props? Hang on. Yeah, no, okay. We doing that here, and we pass the category, so it's only one category. That's right. So I'm getting so confused. What we want to do here is we have the category, we receive it here. We want to get the posts for this category, which is what I've done. And then instead of the string here, yeah, also, yeah. We want to get the actual category, not just a string. Const category equals I'm running out of IDC. Await get entry categories category. So we're getting the current category based on the prop that has been passed to this component. This is not root params, this is props passed to the actual component astro.props, not astro.params. So the current category is that what we want. And we want to go current category here. There. So now we should only have yes. So we're not filtering. Category was like, wait, what? No, that's exactly the same. That's not the problem. The reason the string is going to be the same. The reason we get current category is so that it has the ID, but it also has the title and all of that. It's not just a string. Now I get what I was doing. The sensible voice in your head says eat lunch. This voice has been telling me that for a while. It's funny how neglecting your bodily needs leads to performance peaking, nosediving. But look, current category dot data dot title. So now I can remove this capitalize, which was faking the string title. Aesthetics. And if you don't believe me, let me add before. See, this is like coming from, this is the real deal. Current category. Yes, okay. Should I do something like if If not current category, throw new error, category not found. Yeah, so now it should stop complaining because... So basically, if I was... But I think... whatever. Yeah. I'm not doing anything with posts. Oh yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So now, view category is gonna be a link to, watch this, slash categories slash, no, current category. Oh yeah, I guess category works because it's the slug. View okay, so look at this. Now it's going to link to the correct aesthetics category. And if I go down there, it's going to link to creativity. Our CMS is taking shape. But what I want to do is replace this with the actual posts. And there's only going to be two cards in the whole page because we have 2 posts here. But this is just nice to show the real... data to wrap up this stream. Yes, here. This, and if you were not there, this is at the start. This is a way to fake an array of 3 items, just so I could have 3 times the thing. So instead of that, we want to iterate over posts. And let me call it post. And no. I'm not even using it. So if I save that, it should just show the right amount of stuff, which is really nothing. We could do a nice little cosmetic thing saying exactly that. If posts.length is greater than 0, question mark. What? Don't. And then do that. Whoa, no, you're not helping. Go away. Jeez. Okay, I'm confused now. I was trying to be... My Copilot sometimes is doing my head in. Let's get rid of all that. Just have a little thing here that says if post that length is equal to 0, look, I'll press enter and it will remove the parent. I don't know why it does that. Return no post for this category yet. Stay tuned. And so now we're gonna have this little stay tuned thing if it doesn't have anything. But then here we should do posts that length bigger than 0, and then do this. Basically, instead of that, it should be a question mark here. And here it should be that. That's what I was trying to do, but Copilot just freaking sent me in a blender. So now if there's no posts, we're saying, sorry, come again. And if there is a post, we're showing it. The last thing we need to do is get rid of that Christmas tree, because this is a placeholder image. So we're gonna keep the markup, but for the image source, we're going to use the post.data.image. Wow. And for the title, the sit good boy is gonna leave space to, so it's going to go to slash post slash post.slug, and what are we, image, what is that, category? Oh, is that the little, yeah, it's that little thing. Okay, so that's actually the, we have the category in the, remember at the top of the file we get it, so we can use that. I thought that was the link for the, but again, current category.data.title, so it's capitalized, and we get rid of, you don't want to fake a string capitalized with CSS when you can have the actual string. And here is where we go to the post slash post.data, no, post.slug. Thank you, TypeScript. Hey, nothing is wrong. Just adding this thing here is fixed all the type errors. I think I press save and I'm done, except here is current, no, it's post dot data. Let me see if he finds it. Yeah, it still doesn't have it. Post that data, the title. Another post that goes to another post. My first Markdown post goes to my first Markdown post. Just for the vibe of having two or more posts in the same category. Oh, I'm going to create a post. Let's wrap this stream already. This is what happens when you don't take breaks. I mean, I've done quite okay, I think. The category is going to be aesthetics. The cover image is, let's go. I told you about Flex, and I told you about his son. Let me show. Actually, I lied. T-Rex that we have now is the son of Flex, but he was born a while before this guy died. This guy made mommy pregnant 2 weeks before he died of the second litter, which are puppies that we gave to friends. But T-Rex was the first litter, and there they are at Bunnings warehouse together. So we still have this one now that's sitting next to me, and this is Flex. We caused a riot in Bunnings with these 2 puppy corgis in the... Anyway, I am rambling about corgis and Bunnings, which is the equivalent of Costco, I think. No, not Costco, is more like Big W. What's the big warehouse where you buy tools and stuff? You know, like you do it yourself, gardening, concreting, anything. I don't know. Home Depot, that's the one. Yeah, Costco is like Big W, Kmart, and then Home Depot. Yes, Home Depot is and I bet maybe Home Depot might be Canadian. I don't know. I just know they have. I am toast. Let's create this. And so now get prepared for a maze. Oh, look at this. So look at this homepage. Welcome to my website. Here's are some aesthetic posts. My head just went to like one more thing because it doesn't have the hover state like I have in the categories. You know that hover state? Yeah, this is a hover card component. Let's do it really quickly. I should not. If I go to categories list, is that where I did the aspect ratio? Components. I think I've done that in the categories page directly. Yeah. I'm not gonna do this, but this thing, yeah. This is the thing that should be a component where you pass an image and a link and it does the whole. This whole grid should be abstracted somehow. But because it's the home page and people come to the home page first, I cannot physically let it slide. So here, well, see, first of all, why am I saying that? Like, Kevin Hart, this is who it is. If I go on the homepage, yeah, see, I can't even link there. I wanted both to be linked like I've done in other places. So let me just add this here. We're gonna have to adjust. So what is it? It's post. So I added a link that goes to post.slug, and then here it's post.data.image, and Bob is your uncle. And look at this. With full confidence that I did not break anything. Now we have the hover effect for our posts. So we get to the homepage, we're like, ooh, that site looks nice. What is it? Oh, there's corgis and universe. That looks pretty cool. Yep, definitely universe. And you know what? Let's read the wrap this stream. This is what happens when you don't take breaks. And then here we're going to have a link to, I'm not doing it now, but we're going to have a link to the author, the whole post, and relative posts as well. If we want to see the aesthetics category, we should see the same two posts down here because they are pulled in as well. There's nothing that leads us to the categories page, which is the nicest looking page because I worked hard on the images here. So if we look at the main design, I don't even know if there's a way to go to the categories actually. I guess there's a sidebar. No. Creativity is the category child. There is no footer categories. So that's what we'll do next time. We'll have, I just want to link to that page. But that's the real site. Looking nice and clean. And that's what we've built on the stream with the help of dear attendance. It looked better when it was filled with contents, but we will fill that again next time. And then you can see the aesthetics category and the posts. And I'm pretty happy with that. And if we look at the code for the Keystatic config, I'll JB to remove everything. We've set the storage kind to local. We've changed the name. We've created a categories collection that goes in this directory up here as a YAML file. Remember, if you just don't path anything specific for format, it's coming a YAML file, and we don't have a trailing slash, so it creates the file directly with the name of the slug. And then we created a post collection So our category, no, our post has a relationship to the posts are markdoc because we set the format here that turns it into markdoc. And then we have that category relationship field, which is a string slug reference. So we can relate the content. And we have our image and our markdoc content. And next time we're gonna go here in the components, which is where the freaking magic happens. Do cool stuff here, where we can use inline components, block components, wrapper components, repeating components, mark components, which are really cool. So I don't have the line length. This is about 60, 70 lines of config. And we haven't touched, like, we haven't done any Astro content collection config. We've literally made Keystatic work in a way that Astro understands. And we already gone pretty far. And I think that's a cool way to show how Keystatic is flexible, because if we were working in Next.js, we would not place our thing in, like, we would maybe have different conventions that work better with a specific framework. Because Astro wants stuff into src/content, we did it that way. And then we used the YAML file without the folder, so we could have the IDE, because there's no slugs when you use YAML files in the content collections. We found ways to make Keystatic create a storage, file system storage strategy that kind of works with other tools. And if you use FailKit or so many other frameworks, there's a chance that you might want to change a little bit how Keystatic stores and reads content, and you can do that through the path, through the format, through the trailing slash versus no trailing slash, and all of that. So I hope you learned a thing or two. Thank you a lot for your help, and I'll continue this stream probably tomorrow. Please let me know in the comments if there's things I can do better, if you have questions, and join us on the Discord or GitHub discussions if you want to talk Keystatic. And if you have Tailwind CSS question, you can just reach on Twitter. I love talking about Tailwind. There is no secret there. All right. I'm looking for the exit button, and I will wrap things up now. Thank you so much. Bye.